They didn't believe it. They didn't expect it, but it happened. President Trump ordered a surprise B-2 stealth bombing campaign on 3 of Iran's most fortified nuclear sites. We're talking about Fort Al, Natanz, and Esfahan. I think Esfahan. I don't know. 6 bunker busters dropped straight into the heart of Fort Al, a site buried 300 feet inside of a mountain. This was no warning shot, man. This was a message. And we can end this at will, basically, he said. He sent these bad boys in there. And now we're trying to wait to see if the world's going to catch fire. So satellite confirmation is already in the crater patterns, the thermal readings. This is real, legit. 6 GBU 57s dropped by B-2 Spirits. No warning, no buildup, just ghost in the sky and still in the ground. And that's what you saw, man. Fordo isn't a surface level site. It's Iran's crown jewel built under a mountain surrounded by anti-air reinforced concrete. This is the kind of place you hit once if you can, and you try to make it count. Okay. They you know, I mean, you see the satellite imagery here. But Trump just didn't drop bombs, man. He ran a psychological operation. He had decoy bombers that flew west, while the real payload flew east, undetected. Even our own analysis got it wrong. Iran completely blindsided. Completely. And this was surgical, strategic, and now explosive, no pun intended. But we got a lot to talk about here, man. The bigger threat, the fracture inside our own house. Now, Vice President J.D. Vance, he reportedly tried to delay the strike. He told Trump Israel was pushing too hard. He said that they were dragging America into a war. Israel said they didn't want to wait 2 weeks because Trump came out first and said, I'm going to wait 2 weeks. They told Trump, make a decision or we move without you. And that pressure worked. Maybe he didn't want to seem weak or a lot of other things. We could get real dark with this. One thing I have is a problem I have is Donald Trump's now blasting Thomas Massie, calling him a loser, demanding MAGA drop him. Why? Because Massie questioned the strike, asked why we were fighting Iran when we were being invaded at the southern border. I think it's reasonable, right? Let me play a clip here for you.
What he promised us was we would put America first. And I think there are still voices in this administration. You've still got J.D. Vance. You've still got Tulsi Gabbard. You still, RFK Jr., you still got calmer heads that could prevail.
They were not persuasive in this case, clearly.
Well, somebody was persuasive. AIPAC is very persuasive. For instance, the Israeli lobby in Congress. If you look at my colleagues' feeds now, they all look the same. They're all tweeting the same message that we've got to support Israel.
He's not wrong, man. If you notice, every single person is stating the same thing, basically the same message verbatim. You know, this is kind of where I lose faith a little bit. I'm going to dig in this a little bit more in a moment. But the fact is that people can't question. If you question, you get shunned, you get outcast, you get blasted, you get called a loser. You know, I don't understand why. One, we have all this control over all these people stating verbatim the same thing. The Democrats do that. And maybe this is a tactic and I'm just an idiot that we need to do. But Thomas Massie isn't alone. We have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has also came out basically and said a lot of things as well. We can get to them here. Said, this is not our fight. She said she's never met anyone killed by Iran, you know, but has lost friends to fentanyl, cartel murders, and domestic decay. She's right. You know, you look down through here, and then over here, she says, I can also support President Trump and his great administration on many of the great things they're doing while disagreeing on bombing Iran and getting involved in hot war that Israel started. That's not disloyalty. That's critical thinking. Having my own opinion is the most American thing ever. Because contrary to what brainwashed Democrat boomers say, Trump is not a king, MAGA is not a cult, and the President Trump has surrounded himself with people who once disagree with him and even ran against him for president. Also, the same Democrats in Congress that are all of a sudden clutching their pearls about Trump bombing Iran fully supported and voted for fun, dementia-ridden Biden's proxy war against Russia, Ukraine, and stood by Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Man, she's right. She truly is. Thomas Massie's right as well, right? Not many people are saying these things. Being a critical thinker is important. Not following the cult, not following lockstep. That's what makes you a dangerous person. We'll drop $30,000 bombs in Iran, but won't plug the damn funnel under Texas, right? But at least Judas Pence and Lindsey Graham are applauding Trump's decision. President Trump made the right call to deploy American forces to strike nuclear sites in Iran, and he should be commended for his decisive leadership. And Lindsey Graham as well. Lindsey Graham that just got back from Ukraine, wanting to, spent $450,000 in a hotel. They're applauding this because they're part of the military-industrial complex, or APAC on, one of the two, right? I don't know that I can be on the same side as Judas Pence or Lindsey Graham. I just don't think that I'm going to agree with what these boys are going to be saying. So it does make you question what's really going on here. Am I right? But, and you look at the people that are being shunned now just because they're asking some questions. Hey, man, I thought it was supposed to be America first. And now let's get on to the influencers. There's the No More Foreign Wars crowd here. I got a meme here. They flipped overnight. Suddenly it's time to teach Iran a lesson. They were saying under Biden, no more foreign wars, but now it's cool. Like someone emailed them a script. Today's talking point, war is peace. Got it. Now hit record. It's the same guys I talked about the other week. The Benny Johnsons, the DC Dranos, the ones that got flown up to the White House. They got the binder with Epstein. They're out there dancing like clowns. And then, oh yeah, we got it. And then it was the same information that was released 4 or 5 years ago. Netflix did a better job releasing information about Epstein than that White House push. You look at their feeds today, peace through strength. Every single one of them, peace through strength. There's no war because peace through strength. These morons don't understand. One strike doesn't mean Iran's not going to do anything. The mission's it's not over yet, right? We're going to get into that. Just because you went and bombed them doesn't mean it stopped everything. Just the retaliation has not happened yet, right? Look, you can support Trump. You can believe in strength. But if you're clapping for war without knowing the consequences, you're not a patriot, man. You're a pawn. Especially what's the threats that being made now. Now, what Iran has just said, everyone will feel it. Now, I don't know about you, but everyone will feel it is everyone. Me and you. Everyone's going to feel it. They've threatened U.S. military bases. So that's the sites that was bombed there, right? Full payload of bombs on Iran's most critical nuclear site. Now, they said Fort O was already vacated. I don't know. But you have striking American bases is far easier for us than hitting Israel. If the U.S. plans any aggression against Iran, it must first prepare 50,000 coffins for its forces. This is the deputy chairman of Iran's National Security and Foreign Policy Committee. Okay. Now, there are about 40,000 U.S. troops in the Middle East. What does that tell you? Maybe they have a nuclear weapon. Maybe they're about to use it. They've threatened American bases. They've essentially activated sleeper cells. The Pentagon is briefing troops for attacks. not just in the Middle East, but here. Iranian-backed cells inside the U.S. Let me repeat that. We are now preparing for retaliation on U.S. soil. So all these paid propagandists, and that's what I'm going to call them, the patriot propagandists, that are saying peace through strength, oh, there's no war, nobody's dying for Israel. You don't know that yet. They're the same ones that posted that, and then 3 hours later, all of them posted sleeper cells, warning sleeper cells. Again, they were up there with their binders up there at DC. Oh man, we got the Jeffrey Epstein files. Maybe they're being told to push this narrative because some kind of false flag event. Because Israel said they're not stopping. They're not stopping the campaign. They're going to continue. They want to completely annihilate Iran. What better way than to have a false flag event here, and boom, now America's war. And while we're caught in this spiral, you have to ask yourself something. Why are we fighting their war? When our border has been wide open, man, we've got all these people here. We got to get them out. We got to fix the situation here. We got to get rid of the deep state. I thought that was the plan, to get rid of the deep state. There's no the deep state's still there. The only thing I've seen Pam Bondi do, she hadn't went after Fauci. She hadn't went after Milley. She hadn't went after the Bidens. She hadn't went after any of these people. But I did see her. She arrested a bakery that was posting anti-Semitic memes. She went and locked that boy up. Okay. Now, you're not going to talk about them. Why are we guarding Israeli interests when fentanyl is flooding our streets still to this day? Even a lot of Christians are questioning, man. There was a recent post that went viral asking, why are we commanded to defend a nation where most people don't believe in Christ? Because wake up, they don't, the majority. They ask if only 0.1 to 0.2% of Israel is messianic. Why are we acting like we're under some kind of covenant obligation? It's a hard question, but it deserves to be asked. Am I right? And I'd like to know your thoughts below. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but if you want to, you can check out the Talmud, if you'd like, where they talk about Jesus Christ being boiled in excrement. Getting 57 Alpha is the passage in the Babylonian Talmud, if you want to look at it. It's also why Ben Shapiro, when he was on Joe Rogan, was asked about Jesus by Joe Rogan. He says, oh, he was just a crazy man, a sorcerer, right? You got to look at it like I said the other day. When the CIA was founded, 1947, nation state of Israel, 1948, then Mossad, 1949. It's just I'm asking questions here. Now, Israel's parliament is calling to Iran's parliament is calling down to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. That's 20% of the global oil supply. You shut that down and you got $10 gas overnight. American bases across Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar, and Djibouti are now targets. Iran's foreign policy committee just issued a threat. If we strike again, they're ready to send home 50,000 coffins. They say that they can hit our bases in 2 to 4 minutes. That's not a bluff. That's a countdown. So where does this go? We struck first, but the retaliation hasn't happened yet. That's what I want to make clear to you. Peace through strength. The retaliation has not happened yet. And what makes this more dangerous than any war we fought before is because the next move won't be a formal declaration. It'll be a freaking drone swarm, a cyber attack, a gas shortage, or a dead Marine. I saw Vladimir Putin talking about today that this strike only happened because American oil. He's very upset. Now, if you want to call this peace through strength, fine. But peace isn't proven by dropping bombs. It's proven when the enemy doesn't retaliate. and that point has not came yet. If they don't retaliate, then good. Then it is peace through strength. But right now, we're all waiting. Iran's next move could spark a freaking chain reaction that spirals into World War III. And if that happens, it won't matter what your talking points were that you were given. You were sent the email. It'll matter whether or not you're prepared. I'm going to do a deep dive this week, I hope, because I've told you over the years many times to read the book, Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper. And I feel like probably a lot of you have not. So I'm going to do a deep dive video, and I'm going to discuss the Behold the Pale Horse this week. So make sure you watch that video. If you don't watch any other video of mine, make sure it's that one. Okay. William Cooper was murdered by the government because of the things he was saying, the things that he knew. He was also an enemy of Alex Jones. It's interesting. I'm going to go into it, but Alex Jones, he said, was paid opposition. He said that. And the other thing is that a lot of things that Alex Jones was saying he was getting from William Cooper's radio show and just basically relaying the message. William Cooper predicted 9/11 3 months prior. He was killed 2 months after 9/11. In Behold the Pale Horse, there's a lot of other information that you'll see that he was right about going forward. And I don't know if you guys missed this, and I was going to actually do a video on it, but it may be too late or whatever. But while, everybody else was worried about the King's Day, no King's Day, the U.S. Army currently just enlisted not enlisted because they're officers. They made them officers, colonels, I think. 4 of the AI geeks, the main ones, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and now they're working in the military in the Pentagon. These people are evil. And under Trump's administration, they're just brought in and placed in the military in high-ranking positions, working with AI. So anyway, guys, I would like to know your thoughts about all this. And again, I don't have all the answers. I'm a guy that tries to seek them, though. And, if you're with me, I try to share these things with you. We don't always have to agree on everything. That's the other thing is that so many conservatives are the most fickle people. And the thing is it's crazy. Like I was just looking through comments today, and I saw some very patriotic guys. They were haters, talking trash. And it's crazy because I never see the left doing that to their own people. They don't do it. I even have a lot of leftist comments say, I'm a leftist, but I agree with what you're saying. It's crazy. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the divide and conquer strategy at work, and it's working. I think it's probably due to a lot of hormone manipulation through chemicals and plastics and things too. A lot of men are just weak, in our society, and they're very envious. When you have that hormone disruption, you become very envious of other people. You become jealous and become a hater. I think David Goggins may have said, I'm not sure who said it, but I heard someone say, maybe Joe Rogan, I don't remember who said it, but they said, no one's going to hate on you that's doing better than you. It's always someone below you. And to me, that comes down to someone having a very poor outlook on life, because you can fix everything. No matter how many times you've been kicked in the teeth, you can absolutely fix everything. Okay. It just takes one time and work, time and effort, I should say. And so you can fix anything. And it's not about being the best looking. It's not about being the most wealthy, but finding contentment. I mean, one big thing, and I'll just give you the secret. If you want the hack, one is having Christ in your life. Number one, that'll fix a lot, because you will be content. Okay. And that brings me to another point is I see a lot of people find, and I'll get attacked for whenever I talk about Christ too, which is fine, because I will live for my kids. I live for my kids, Christ, my kids, and the betterment of the world. I will die for those things as well. Okay. So I don't care about hate. But the thing is I know a lot of people that are atheists or what have you, they find strength to try to attack someone because of their faith. Oh, I'm better because I don't believe in the ghost man, blah, blah, blah. They'll say that kind of stuff. One, it takes a very strong man to humble himself down and believe in a higher, a God, one that they submit to. and submitting is very difficult. Trust me, it is. But the other thing is that you will be very content with life, right? Because we're promised persecution. So anything above that is good to go. But humbling yourself to God, to the principles, takes a lot of strength. The other thing is I think Western civilization has weakened the idea of what a Christian is, because I even see it amongst my followers. They'll talk trash about me, saying that they can't believe I'm a Christian. If you read the Bible, the Western kind of idea of Christians, I'm sorry I'm going off on this tangent, but the idea is, from what I see, and that's why you walk into a church and you can't, it's hard to find a man that can even do 10 push-ups or even do 3 pull-ups. They've weakened the outlook. And I think that was by design too. And I talked about this before, about how the CIA sent CIA operatives into South America to use propaganda in the church, right? So the whole outlook is to make Christians weak people. Oh man, they're weak, they're pacifists, and all these sort of things. And I see that. It's one thing I don't like whenever I see, when you go to a church, you see that weakness, right? When you look at, if you read the Bible, you look at Jesus was not really, he was kind, but he was a very direct guy. Like, he was very direct. Like, he told you what time it was, and I love directness. I think it's the best thing ever. Like, a lot of people think I'm a prick because I'm very direct, but I would rather someone be very direct for me, like I'm at work or something, and say, hey dude, you're effing up, like, get it together, than to be like, hey man, how you doing? And then stabbing you in the back. And then all of a sudden you get terminated one day because you had no idea that you were doing anything wrong, or that you were not meeting the standard. I like directness. I think it's the best, most beautiful gift you can give someone, is cut the bullshit and tell somebody directly what you think. So I think a lot of times in life, people on the outside, they see the church in that Western kind of softness. It's just not truth. It's just not truth. I think it was propaganda by design to weaken these people, and why it appears that way, and probably pushes a lot of people back from it because they don't want to be weak. But I don't know why I went down this rabbit hole, but maybe it was on my heart to share. And the thing is that it's not weak. Okay. Not by far. And some of the toughest men I know are followers of Christ. So anyway, I want to know your thoughts. Terror cells probably coming. Stay frosty, strapped, and dangerous at all times. I think the threats are for major cities right now, like New York. They're increasing the police presence and so on. So make sure you're staying frosty, strapped, and dangerous, guys. I want to know your thoughts below. And as always, stay alert, stay ready, stay prepared. And then FSD. Black Scout out.
2, 3. 1, 2.